What is going on, YouTube? It's AirJP back with a brand new performance review video, and as you guys can tell from the title already, we are going to be taking a look at those Curry 9s and how they perform for me on the basketball court here in just a few minutes. If you guys haven't checked out any of my other videos, please do so. Hit that subscribe button as well as that like button, thumbs up button. Check out my performance review website. I do have a website where I do have written performance reviews. I actually have had the written performance review out on this actual sneaker for, I guess, about 2 weeks now. Sometimes I'm a little late to get the videos made, and sometimes I don't even always get the videos made. So you can keep most up to date probably with my actual performance review website if you want to know more about sneakers I am testing or playing in, as well as my Instagram. I will leave all this information in the description box below for you. But as I said, guys, we're here to check out these Curry 9s. Let's go ahead and find out how they perform for me on the court and break them down just a little bit. I'm also going to throw in some references back to the Curry 8 because I did recently test this sneaker and play in it actually right before the 9s. I don't even think that I actually made a video performance review on the actual 8s because they've been out for so long, but I did do a written review that obviously is up on my performance review website. But we will, as I said, give some references to the Curry 8s as well with this Curry 9 performance review. But it's not really a comparison video. That's not really what I'm going for here. But first off, I will say that basically the Curry 9 feels very similar to the Curry 8 in a lot of aspects, but at the same time, I do feel like the Curry 9 is an absolute upgrade. The Curry 8 was a great basketball shoe. I had a lot of fun in this shoe playing in it. I actually played in it or tested it probably a little bit longer than I would certain sneakers or other sneakers that I have tested in the past. That's kind of the same with the Curry 9. I had a whole lot of fun with that shoe as well. But going over kind of comparing them, if you want to say, or, you know, having them side by side, so to speak, as I said, they feel very similar on foot. A lot of the tech specs and things are almost identical, but at the same time, as I said, the Curry 9 does feel a whole lot better on foot and on court. Let's go ahead and talk about it just a little bit. So first off, let's go over my favorite aspect to any basketball or performance basketball sneaker, as long as it works well, that is, and that is the traction setup or traction pattern. I had absolutely no issues whatsoever out of the Curry 9 from a traction standpoint. They are basically identical, or the traction pattern is pretty much identical to the Curry 8. So if you played in the Curry 8, didn't have any issues with it or liked those, you're probably going to really like these once again, or as well. I do feel like they may grip to the floor a little bit better, but for the most part, as I said, it feels almost identical. So if we're going to talk about the material or mix it in with the cushion just a little bit, the Curry 9 does feature flow technology once again, just as the Curry 8 did. And basically what that is, or what that means, is you have a all non-rubber outsole and midsole. It is all foam to the shoe, so it makes for a super lightweight feel on court. The shoe once again does feel lightweight in all aspects. It is a very, very lightweight shoe, but when we're going over just the traction setup or pattern, I just really like how this grips the floor, has a super tacky feel to it, and I just really, really like how the traction setup worked for me in the Curry 9s on court. One other aspect that I would like to go over with you from a traction standpoint is I did test this sneaker, or this could be to any aspect of the shoe if you're wondering. I only tested this sneaker indoors, and I did mention that as well in the written review. So for my actual, this is currently not happening because I didn't test these outdoors, but I do feel like that if you did play in these outdoors, your durability would be very low to the shoe, or your traction would start rubbing off, and the nubs and things on the edges would start coming off pretty quickly. This is mostly going to be strictly an indoor shoe in my opinion. I did play in the 8s a little bit outdoors, and that did happen, so I'm kind of referencing this to you now that I would not recommend these outdoors whatsoever, especially from a traction standpoint. Not that they wouldn't work well outdoors, I just think durability of them wouldn't work well or very well for you over a long period of time. So let's go ahead and talk about the actual cushion to the Curry 9 just a little bit. As we mentioned just previously in the traction aspect of the shoe, these do feature Under Armour or Curry brands flow technology, which means there is absolutely no rubber to the midsole or outsole of the shoe whatsoever. More going to be common on the outsole, but just referencing back to that, there is absolutely no rubber to the shoe. The cushion is very, very comfortable. I thoroughly enjoyed this on the 8. As I said, it's a super lightweight material, makes the shoe overall feel super lightweight. It's very comfortable once again, and I actually find myself wanting to wear these not only to play in, but actually to the gym, maybe on leg day, as well as maybe to run on the treadmill, whatever it may be. I just have very many things that I am able to use this shoe for because it's so comfortable. I wouldn't mind actually having another pair even just to wear casually, because it is, as I said, a super comfortable shoe. If we're talking about straight on the basketball court, once again, comfort is key to some. I like a very comfortable basketball shoe, but it's not necessarily the number one aspect that I'm looking for. But at the same time, this does give you a lot of impact protection. In my opinion, it's just very, very cushioned. It has a great cushioned feel. If you guys have followed me for a long time, you know that a lot of times I prefer more of a court feel. These give me enough court feel that I'm looking for, but at the same time, I do feel like that you do get more of a cushioned feel than a actual court feel, but it's not overly cushioned. In my opinion, like, I love playing in some LeBron models, but at the same time, a lot of times, LeBron models can be over cushioned for me, or more cushioned than what I'm looking for. So it doesn't give you that amount or that type of cushion, but at the same time, it does give you enough that you're definitely going to be covered all around the shoe, and you are going to get a very comfortable shoe at that. Next up, let's talk about the fit just a little bit on the Curry 9. So I'm going to reference once again back to the Curry 8. I'm trying to make this, as I said, not a comparison video, but they're so similar other than the actual height or collar area of the shoe and some materials and things like that. It's just so easy to compare them if you've actually wore those or played in them. So referencing back to that, I went down half a size in the Curry 8. That is the exact same thing that I did on the Curry 9, as I thought that they were going to be quite similar just from looks and things like that of what I thought they would feel like on court. So I did go down half a size. The reason I'm saying this can be a little bit tricky is because there's really no stock of these anywhere. There's only been like one real release. I actually got mine from Under Armour on the release. They ended up releasing at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and when I woke up, there was still some sizes available. And they actually didn't have an 11.5. That is my true size. They did have an 11, so that's the real reason, I guess, too, that I went down half a size, but it ended up working out very, very well for me, in my opinion. I don't think you would be wrong, so to speak, to go true to size, but at the same time, I like my shoes or basketball shoes to fit snug in the first place. So for me, there was no issues whatsoever going down half a size. And honestly, if I was to buy another pair, I would definitely buy a size 11, which is, as I said, once again, down half a size. So my real recommendation is to go down half a size. I just don't want you to buy these half a size down and say, I wish I had went with my true size, because like I said, there is really no way to go in store at this point, or that I know of, to go in store to try these on. But hopefully that will change in the very near future, and maybe you can go in and try them on and get the actual size that you're looking for. Next up, we're going to go over and talk about the Curry 9 Lockdown just a little bit. Now, the Curry 9 Lockdown, in my opinion, worked out very, very good. I actually really liked pretty much every single aspect to the lockdown of the shoe. It is different than the Curry 8. The Curry 8 I had no issues with really from a lockdown standpoint, but the Curry 9 is a definite upgrade. Curry 9 features what Under Armour calls its warp technology. So basically here in the toe box in the forefoot area, you have almost like this overlay over top of the materials, where it's almost like what Under Armour calls seat belts, but I'm just going to call it almost like mini straps, or if you want to refer it to as seat belts. It basically runs across the shoe in all different variations, and it helps keep your foot locked into the footbed or the midsole of the shoe. And when you make sudden cuts, so on and so forth, it helps keep you contained inside the shoe. It worked very, very well for me. It may sound crazy or like something that could be not working that well to the shoe, but as I said, it's something that you definitely can feel or notice on court, and it does keep you very, very contained inside the shoe. Had no issues in the heel area with lockdown or anything like that. Once you're in this shoe, you feel very, very locked in. I didn't feel myself feeling like I was going to roll over at any point or anything like that. I had no issues, as I said, from a lockdown standpoint. If you followed me once again, any at all, you guys know that I normally don't prefer or like to play in super low cut basketball sneakers. These are definitely a little bit lower cut than the actual 8s, as you can see here. Once you take this collar area down, or you take into consideration that this is almost just like material up here, they're not too much different. But as I said, once again, the materials right here, it helped a little bit, I feel like, and this overlay right here of suede helped too with a little bit of containment. But with these, you just have the straight lower cut, but it feels like for whatever reason, you sit a little more down into the actual midsole here, as you can see on this part. And I just feel like in the heel, you're more contained in the 9, but up here in the forefoot and toe box area, I just really like what they did and how that warp technology feels on foot. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed with these from a lockdown standpoint. I had absolutely no issues. And once again, that's coming from someone that is normally not known to play in this low cut of a sneaker. But as I said, everybody has their own preferences, opinions on things. But for me personally, I had no issues with the lockdown, and I really, really liked the setup that Under Armour did use on on the Curry 9. Next up, let's talk about the materials just a little bit. I had no issues whatsoever with materials. You guys probably know I'm the, what am I trying to say here? I'm usually like not too harsh on materials in general, especially for shoes that I'm playing in, unless they're absolutely terrible and just do not feel good on court. But with these, they actually felt really good on court. Now, I'm going to tell you, they're not super soft to the touch or anything like that. We're not talking Jordan 1 premium leather or tumbled leather or anything like that. But at the same time, you pretty much got like synthetic type materials back here in the back. Didn't bother me whatsoever, had no issues. Durability, I think you're going to be just fine in this heel area. Up here in the front, as I said, you do have that Under Armour warp technology that helps with the lockdown or containment of the shoe. As I once said earlier, it's almost like an overlay over top of the material. So it's kind of got like that, as you can hear, that scratchy type feel to it, but at the same time, it doesn't really bother me because I'm normally not rubbing the top of my sneakers or anything like that from a aspect of playing basketball in them. But what I'm more concerned about is the feel inside the shoe. It does feel super soft and very comfortable on your toe area, as well as the forefoot, the tongue area, and things like that. The materials feel very, very good on foot. I had absolutely no issues from a material standpoint. They breathed very well on court. You had really good breathability to the shoe. Durability, once again, I've played in these a ton, and they literally still look almost brand new, especially from materials aspect and things like that. The traction is starting, once again, as I mentioned earlier, to wear just a little bit, but that's just from playing in them so much. But at the same time, as I said, going back to the materials, I don't think you're going to have any issues with these unless you're just expecting some super premium material, leather or something, which they don't obviously mention or portray to be that. But at the same time, they're not going to give you any issues from a performance standpoint, I do not believe, in my opinion. Next up, let's go over the aesthetics or the look of the actual shoe. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys straight up, this is probably my absolute favorite Curry model from a look standpoint to date, and honestly probably my favorite Curry model to play in overall as well. But I just think that this shoe looks very, very good all the way around. Top to bottom, front to back, I have no issues with how the shoe looks. I really, really like it. I just think that they did an excellent job on executing how they wanted it to look, and I think it just really does look great overall. This is obviously part of the Sesame Street collab. This is the Count It colorway. You've got pretty cool details on the heel tab there. You can see details on the inside of the shoe. Obviously Sesame Street inside, Curry on the tongue area here. And like I said, there's some other colorways that probably I rather would have had. This was the one that was left in my size that I could get on the day they did release. I don't even remember the exact date. I already went over that. I woke up kind of late. I wanted the Big Bird colorway. That's the ones that I really, really wanted. So I'm hoping that maybe eventually those do restock, or we do get maybe a re-release on those, because it was kind of a quick kind of release that I feel like maybe there wasn't a lot of stock, or the numbers, maybe they just hadn't got everything in. I'm not really sure, but as I said, I'm hoping maybe that those do restock or have a re-release on them, because I would definitely try to pick up that Big Bird colorway if I am able to. But overall, I'm very happy with these, satisfied with the way they look. I don't have any complaints. This actual colorway looked better when I got it in hand, I felt like, than maybe images. I feel like this video doesn't even do it justice as well. I really like this midsole splatter area. It's got basically purple, green, and black on there. I hope the camera's picking it up well. But as I said, overall, aesthetically, this is definitely my favorite looking Curry model. And I just think that it does look really, really good. And I think that we could have some really cool colorways with the way the materials and the warp technology and things like that work, or look on the actual shoe. They have tons and tons of options that they could do with this shoe. And I feel like once we start getting some more releases, there's going to be some really, really cool looking colorways to the Curry 9. So overall, the Curry 9 is one of those shoes that I mention to you guys every now and again that is super fun to play basketball in. I had absolutely no issues out of this shoe whatsoever. You kind of probably picked that up in each category that we've went over. I pretty much rated this shoe perfect score in my written performance review in pretty much every single category. Materials worked great. Containment and lockdown worked great. Cushion is very good. It's a very comfortable shoe. Traction worked very well. As I said, most of the things that I gave you that could be negatives about the shoe is just the way that maybe you played in or treated the shoe, because once again, as I currently mentioned at the very beginning of the video, I wouldn't recommend testing these outdoors. So if that's something you do and have a bad review out of it, or you don't like how they perform outdoors, well, that's just you playing in them outdoors. So that's something I did not do. But once again, as I said, I had no absolute issues in any single category out of the Curry 9. Very fun shoe to play basketball in. If you're not interested in playing in them, but do like Stephen Curry and just wanted a pair of them, whatever it may be, you could rock these casually, as I said, just because they are so comfortable just to wear out, wear to the gym, whatever it may be. I do think that you're going to like these. Hopefully we start getting some more releases, more colorways and things like that very soon, because I do think that this is going to be a fan favorite for this year, and they definitely hit a home run with the Curry 9s. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today and checking out this performance review video on the Under Armour or Curry brand Curry 9. As I mentioned, basically really like this shoe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the Curry 9, maybe if it's just from a look standpoint, or if you have got to play in these already. Let me know in the comments section below what you think about the Curry 9 overall. Once again, thanks for tuning in today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And as always, we'll be back very, very soon with either some more gear or some more sneakers. Peace.